All right, so Corey, I appreciate you working with me on this video. Um, it's my pleasure to have the opportunity to work with you on coaching you through something that you want to work on. So, what is it that you want to talk about?
It's kind of an embarrassing topic because I feel like it's something that I already should have mastered, but my time management. Just my ability to focus on my tasks and get them done
Okay.
without pressure.
Okay. So, what is it about your time management that you want to work on? Is it that you don't manage your time well at all? Are you looking for a way to improve your time management? What exactly is
I think I'm looking for some different strategies and techniques to maybe help me to organize my work a little better. And this applies to different aspects of my life. I just want to practice it all the way around.
it? Okay. Now, when we were speaking before, you mentioned that you got some prior military time, and the military is known for managing its time well.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? What has changed? Or I guess let me ask you: were you more proficient at managing your time when you were in the military? And has anything changed? Or
I can say a couple things. I will say that time was something that was very important to me before. I think that, for example, in my current work situation, time is not as crucial. So I believe that maybe I've become a little complacent. So maybe I need to reinforce or kind of figure out what some of those habits were that made me want to be on time. Or and it's not that I'm late. It's just that I know that I can do better because I've
right,
done better before.
right,
And I don't feel like I'm doing the best that I can do.
okay,
And so I want to kind of figure out ways to reinforce those things. So the Air Force definitely helped me to develop those skills. So I know they exist. I think that I've just become complacent
okay.
and I got to figure that out.
So what's changed? Okay, you've left the Air Force. If anything, I'm assuming you left the Air Force with a skill set
Mm-hmm.
that included time management.
Mm-hmm.
What's changed in your current position to where now it's a struggle for you?
A lot of it is there's just not real time constraints, maybe. Um, in the military, obviously, sometimes time is a matter of life or death. And in this situation, it's not crucial right here, right now.
Right.
And I personally think that I like that. I like knowing that what I'm doing right now is going to impact what I do in 5 minutes. And I think that the pressure is just less. And so it makes a difference in, I think, how I approach things.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, maybe it's your time in the Air Force. Maybe it was the external factors, maybe the accountability,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the sense of urgency
Mm-hmm.
for the jobs that you had to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it maybe you don't have those same external forces.
Right. I haven't really thought about it like that. That's interesting. I don't feel like I have accountability at work at all. Um, and I mentioned kind of in the beginning, like I want this to kind of bleed into all aspects. So right now I'm in the executive NDA program where I work on a team. And my fear is that, I mean, right now I'm not noticing any huge conflicts with my time impacting the team, but I don't want it to get to a point where it could potentially affect the team. So I'm coming to you kind of trying to talk these things out. And it's helpful that I just realized maybe it is accountability as far as my work environment's concerned, like as it relates to my team, that's one of my team values, like is accountability. So I kind of have that in that atmosphere,
Okay.
but again, it's lacking in my work atmosphere.
Okay, so what does it look like for you when Corey's on top of her game and managing time appropriately, or as you desire to manage your time? How does that look versus the way your production is looking now?
One of the main things right off, I know for me, I the anxiety goes away. Like I want to be, I mean, I want to be on time. I want to produce my best work, but I notice that if I'm not following some kind of system, which I'm trying to establish now, if I'm not following some kind of system, then I get very anxious when it gets down to the last minute and I realize that 2 hours that I have, I really need 24 hours,
Mm.
So trying to bridge that gap of 2 hours and 24 hours, the difference.
Okay. So earlier in our conversation, you mentioned the sense of urgency kind of fuels your
Mm-hmm.
your production.
Right.
So is it necessarily a bad thing that you're waiting to the last minute? Or what is it that you want to change? You say that you want to change your behavior to give yourself maximum time to accomplish your tasks.
Right.
But you also mentioned that you like the sense of urgency in waiting to the last minute.
I feel like, for some reason, I feel like I work good under pressure. I can say that I feel like, and see, that's my point. I don't feel like it's a problem right now, but I feel like it could be a problem.
Okay.
And so this is kind of my way, coaching myself through this, or coaching through this, is kind of my way of saying this could potentially become a problem.
Okay.
What kind of steps can I take right now so that it doesn't like infect other areas of my life?
Okay. So let's.
So I do work good under pressure, though. I do feel like if it's pressure, my nature is to do whatever I got to do to get it done. But it doesn't always feel good.
Gotcha. So let's address that question. What are some things that you think you can do in order to improve your time management?
I think definitely number one for time management is kind of planning out my day a little bit better each day, instead of waiting to the last minute, maybe looking at things at the beginning of each day or the beginning of each week, or maybe even outlook for the whole month and then kind of plan it in advance. Instead, it's, I look at things when it's time to look at things, and I get it done when it's time to get it done. So instead, I want to kind of see these things, take the additional time and look at things as a big picture, and then really set deadlines and actually accomplish them that are maybe prior to the official deadline.
So being more so proactive as opposed to reactive.
Right. Just try that method a little bit more. But I think with that, it sounds like it's easier for me to say, and even though I'm saying this to you, I don't know, like I want to figure out what do I need to do to actually make me do it.
Right.
I need to figure out what,
Well, you mentioned not having that accountability at work. Is there anyone at your job or anyone in your life that can help hold you accountable to these things that you say you want to accomplish?
I think yes, but I feel like it's something I kind of want to figure out how to do on my own too, because I know that I can. I just don't know where to start.
Okay.
So, for example, like I'm saying, I don't know for sure, but I think maybe like, making a checklist and actually checking it off again, which is something I used to do that worked in the past that I just kind of stopped doing.
And what made you get away from utilizing that checklist if it was a successful practice for you?
I guess maybe not being held accountable for it. But I think now, because I'm kind of acknowledging it and talking through it and realizing that it is an accountability thing, then maybe I can look at myself and say, you know what, I can hold myself accountable and kind of just like realize these things and actually do it.
So, to help me better understand, if you've been operating like this for the last couple of years, what was it that made you recognize that you need to improve your time management? Like, was there a particular instance that occurred that made you kind of wake up and recognize that there might be a problem?
Yes, I started an executive MBA program and realized that, I have work, I have personal life, I have schoolwork, and there's a lot more things on my plate right now.
Okay.
And I want to be able to have a work-life balance. And I don't feel like I can, that's the change that happened that I feel like made me realize that I need to get ahead of this.
Okay.
And I don't want to wait until 10 months in and realize, you know what, like, I need to start practicing these things. I need to start, putting some of these plans in place.
So what are some of those plans? Let's just, I guess if you would name some of those things. You mentioned the checklist.
One thing I think in order for me to kind of execute, and I don't want to say this like personal punishment, but maybe waking up just a little bit early each morning and kind of hitting everything on the front end. And that way I can approach each day with a clear vision of these are the things that I want to accomplish for today. Okay. And they don't have to be big things, but I think that if I kind of set a couple of items, then I can get that feeling of accomplishment and that feeling of accountability that I lack personally. And I feel like maybe I can try that for a little while. And then maybe if it doesn't work, then maybe I need to look into recruiting some accountability partners.
Okay. Have you entertained the idea of maybe setting this as a SMART goal so that you can measure, you can track your progress and maybe within that context that'll help you out. I mean, that's just an idea. But with the checklist, that in and of itself isn't going to get the job done. That's not going to wake you up earlier. How do you plan, starting at the very beginning of this plan, how do you intend to make it happen? Make yourself get up, make yourself write this checklist so that you don't forget these things if you're going at it on your own as opposed to starting with an accountability partner.
I'm not really sure. I mean, I definitely feel like having a checklist is measurable. I mean, as far as a SMART goal is concerned, because I have the check mark or I don't, and I can see how many check marks I have, and is it complete or incomplete? So it kind of gives me that. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just a little nervous about getting other people involved in it. You know, like I don't know if I want people to know that I'm having an issue with my time. And
well, does it necessarily have to be considered an issue? Maybe it's just it's self-improvement, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm talking to you. Like this is something that I definitely want to resolve. It's good for me to kind of see, you know, what made this happen and what do I need to do to improve it. Because I haven't thought this out, and now I am. And like accountability is a big key, but I think that I do need to have something measurable for me too. I definitely feel like I'm rewards oriented, so I definitely will feel the relief and less anxiety knowing that I'm doing the things that I said I was going to do.
Okay. So knowing that you're rewards oriented, what are some of the personal rewards that you what are some personal rewards from you accomplishing this goal? What are some of the feelings or the goals, the feeling of accomplishment that you anticipate from completing this plan?
So maybe if I start my days early on Monday and Tuesday and I get my checklist accomplished like the first couple days of the week and they're finished, then maybe it allows me to have a free day on Friday, or my Saturday is free. I don't have to go into the weekend with, oh, that was something I was supposed to do on Monday, now it's due next Monday, you know? So then I have to spend the weekend doing something that's due on Monday when I could have knocked that out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
So I think that would be a reward for me, because I actually do spend every weekend doing something work-related or school-related and have to pass up other things because it's something I could have done.
Okay.
So it's not that it's late, it's just I'm not using my time efficiently.
And as a result of you not using your time efficiently, I mean, what are the effects of you not using your time efficiently? What are the consequences when you don't?
I don't get to have my free time.
Okay.
Or my time that I would have spent with my friends is, you know, maybe I don't enjoy my time as much because I'm preoccupied with, now when I get home I have to do this.
Right.
You know, and it's something I could have done before. So this, I mean, even just talking about this, it makes me feel better knowing, like, you know, if I knock stuff out in the beginning of the week, then the end of it's like the week increasingly gets light instead of increasingly gets heavy.
Right.
It's kind of like procrastination. It's exactly what it is, actually.
Gotcha. So did you have any issues with your time management before coming into the Air Force?
I would say probably not, but the only reason why is because I just was brought up pretty structured.
Okay.
So I always had some form of structure. You know, I knew when I would do this, that, or the other. I wasn't very. I think I was just naturally just do this to get to be.
Right.
And I just was always ready to get stuff done, so I would just do it. I think I just grew up and realized that I could do whatever I wanted and kind of took advantage of that.
Gotcha. But now you're recognizing that it's
Right.
not the most beneficial for
Right.
you. Okay. So is there anyone in your MBA program who may be dealing with something similar? That's a safe environment for you to practice these skills. And that's why I mentioned the SMART goal within the concepts of the EMBA program. Is there anyone who you would trust to say, hey, maybe we can start this together, and maybe this is something we can do? Just to encourage you to go ahead and get started so that you can kind of speed up your personal growth as quickly as possible?
I think so, yes. More so as it relates to maybe personal or work-related stuff. I do feel like I have the accountability on my team. I think we share that. I do find that when I guess, coach people or help people with some of the issues that I have, it kind of helps helps me to see it a little bit more. But I think now I can approach other people with issues similar to mine and also help myself as well, versus just I'm helping you and not myself. You know, I think that I can discuss this with my teammates to kind of add in that personal touch just a little bit more. I actually think it would help with the dynamic of our team, like just kind of connecting outside of the seriousness of school and assignment. So I think that that's actually a kind of works in multiple ways. So it helps me with my accountability, but also allows me to build a more personal connection with my team.
Okay.
You know, because we don't. I mean, right now we don't. I mean, we're work.
Right.
And we don't get into personal stuff as much. So it's not really often that I would talk about a work-related time issue. So maybe I would try that new.
Okay. Has anyone on your team mentioned or made any reference to issues with time management pertaining to you?
No, I'm usually the one that throws everything out to the team and calls the shots on when stuff's due and puts the layout together and everything. So.
And that works for your team, even though your time management may be a little.
Well, to me, it's a little different, and I think that has to do with like that accountability thing. It's something I'm realizing even as I'm talking to you. But when that accountability is there, it just makes me work harder and do more. Like it's one thing when it's just me as the object, but when it's going to affect somebody else, I tend to be more in and more involved. Whereas if it's completely up to me, then I'm probably going to, improvise.
Okay. So your position at work, it involves other people, right?
Yes and no.
Well, how does it differ from the context of the MBA program? Because I think maybe if you can draw some parallels between school and work, it may help motivate you, or it may.
Motivation's good point. I think it could be, maybe this could be the realization of an underlying issue that I haven't really explored, and it could be motivation.
Okay.
So motivation could be affecting my, I guess, desire to do things sooner rather than later.
So what motivates you?
I think usually the end result, I'd say.
Okay.
Being done and producing a good product.
Being done ahead of time or being done just in time?
I mean, I would like to ideally be done ahead of time.
Okay.
Not just on time. Just so that I can have more free time and personal time and no anxiety.
So do you ever think about that?
No.
No,
I don't think about it. And so that's why this is good, because now I'm thinking like, well, if I do X, then Y will happen.
Right.
I'm just not thinking about it. I think I'm doing more doing than thinking. And so that's why this is good for me to be talking about it.
Okay. So we've talked about potentially utilizing an accountability partner, a checklist, maybe even creating a SMART goal, whatever the case may be. How committed are you to the steps that you mentioned? You mentioned starting with the checklist and maybe getting up early. How committed are you to making this happen?
Is this like a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you? With 10 being very committed, 1 being, I don't think it's going to be something that I'm going to be able to achieve on my own. How committed are you to making this happen?
I'm going to say 8 because I want to leave room for error. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to say 8 and not 7 and not 9 because I feel like with 8, I can begin to take the steps knowing that I'm probably going to tweak it some to make them better. Like I feel like there's a bunch of different routes that I can take to accomplishing this goal. And I feel like I know that I am 10%, or not 10%, 10, scale of 10, willing to try different things until I master one. But I'm just a little nervous about making the change, even though I know I really want to.
Okay.
I'm just nervous.
So for the sake of certainty, so that we don't end this conversation without a defined goal, for the sake of certainty, in no more than 60 seconds, lay out explain to me, lay out a plan for yourself on what you plan to do
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish your goal.
Well, number one, for sure, to accomplish my goal, I definitely feel like I can put forth the commitment to draw my day out at the beginning of each day. I feel like that's something I can definitely do. I feel like a checklist will definitely help me to be accountable. I definitely want to get to that personal level with my team. So I would like to discuss that in one of our feedback sessions when we're talking about personal things and maybe even address that need for the benefit of us getting more on a personal level to help each other outside
Right.
of our class situation. And I feel like I know for sure that I will try to make or try harder to accomplish some of those goals in the beginning of the week so that by the end of the week, I don't have the pressure of trying to work through the weekend or work through my Fridays or, trying to get stuff done that I can have ready for Monday. Or in the case of the program, doing stuff earlier in the week that maybe do on Sunday, so that I don't have to carry that stuff into the weekend, which would affect just my overall work-life balance or school balance or anything.
I just want to ask, do you think that in any way it would be beneficial for you to write down what you just said so that you can take a look at it and hold yourself accountable? That's more of a reference to that SMART goal that I mentioned.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think
it would be beneficial. I think it would be beneficial even for me to reflect on it each day.
Right.
Maybe kind of, these are the things, like kind of make a commitment to myself. These are the things, because I'm telling you, I feel like if I do these things, and you help me see that, if I do these things, then this is what the result could be. But you got to do them first.
Absolutely.
But I do feel like a reminder would help. Okay. Excuse me. I think a reminder could help. Maybe even a reminder in my phone or something. I don't know. Like maybe like a little alert.
So with that, I know we need to go ahead and wrap up our session. But you think maybe within, I don't know, maybe a week or so I can check back with you and we can just kind of go over, whatever progress that you've made and any suggestions I might be able to offer.
Sure, I think that'll be good. Well, instead of 1 week, like, can we do 2 weeks? Like, check with me in 2 weeks?
We can do 2 weeks.
Okay.
Just reach out to me and let me know what you want to do.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, sounds good. I hope this was helpful, and I certainly appreciate your time.
I think so.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.